Introducing FunkMastaDre with Sonic Mania. Let's kick it off in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go!
All right, guys. Well, welcome to Sonic Mania. So the first thing I'm going to point out to you guys is that there's a lot that's going to go on in this game. So we're going to try our best to explain it as we go. But the first thing we're going to point out is that even though this is any percent, we're still going to collect all the Chaos Emeralds. The reason why is because we'll unlock Super Tails, and it's much faster than just not unlocking them. Simply because you get a lot of bonuses from Super Tails. And what we're doing right now to collect this emerald so quickly is a technique called, I'd like to call it air snaking. Basically, if you hold right, then jump to the left, you gain a lot of momentum. That combined with bouncing off the bumpers in this stage, you just get a lot of speed that way.
And he's going to have access to a number of those master rings throughout each level. So here within the first couple acts, he can already collect all 7 of his Chaos Emeralds to have access to it. The fact that they are so quick that you can beat them is why it's going to be fast enough to actually get to Super Tails and utilize that.
Right, that's a very good point, because if we were to do this the normal way, it would take much longer to collect them. It would not be worth it at all. So here's the Emerald 2. Probably the easiest one so far.
That's great, dude. Normally within those bonus stages, there are a bunch of those blue orbs you'll pick up. They'll put you in different like mock speeds as you go through. We're just going to ignore all of that and just pick them up very quickly.
All right, so coming up, we've got Green Hill 1's boss. We're going to go for the quick hill. Hopefully we get it, because otherwise it can be a pretty annoying boss. So here we go. There we go.
Very nice.
All right, and that's Green Hill 1. Very simple. Now, coming up in Green Hill 2, we're actually going to get one more emerald before we kill the boss there.
Now, is that the only one you have access to in this stage, or are there others?
There's another one, but it's very out of the way, so it's not worth getting. And we're going to take advantage of speed shoes here.
Obviously, some basics of 2D Sonic speedrunning, making sure that when you're in those ramps, you jump at effectively what is 5 o'clock and 11 o'clock to just cut out the corners right there and gain a ton of speed going down.
All right, so we're coming up on Emerald 3, and this one is very odd. I'm just going to do it, and I'm just going to explain it afterward. All right, now we're going to it.
Yeah, pay attention to the UFO right here. What?
All right, so basically what we did was we tricked the game into thinking that we were in front of the UFO, which is why we bounced into that wall twice. So basically in this game, in the special stages, if you get in front of the UFO, it actually turns around to prevent you from just doing a special stage backwards. So we just took full advantage of that. Now this boss here, the only thing that can hit you are his arms, so it's very easy to kill once you know that. And we're just going to fly into the capsule here because that's quicker, and that's Green Hill Zone.
All right.
All right, so we're playing on Sonic Mania Plus, which is an upgraded edition from the original. Before, you had to do a 2-frame window to skip cutscenes, but now we can just naturally skip them, so we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, there's some things patched in the later versions of Sonic Mania, but they cut a deal with us effectively and said, we'll just let you skip those cutscenes for free.
And thank goodness they did, because that was the worst part of the run before, easily. All right, so Emerald 4 here. There we go.
Very nice. And some general theming about a lot of these. 8 of the 12 zones that we're going to be going through are retreads of older Sonic stages from Sonic 1, 2, 3, and CD. Well, 3 and Knuckles. Generally, the first acts are going to be sort of hodgepodges of like what you would have remembered Chemical Plant Zone to be back in Sonic 2. And then Act 2 is usually where they took a lot more liberties, did some new original stuff with it.
All right, so we've got Special Stage 5 coming up. There we go. So if done correctly, that's one of the quickest ones. If not, it can take much longer to do so. So I'm glad I got that one out the way. All right, so we've got the boss of this stage coming up, and we're going to take advantage of invincibility frames during it, or iframes for short. So keep in mind, we have 5 of the Chaos Emeralds so far. We only need 2 more to become Super Tails, and that's when the run takes a huge turn after that, because we're going to take advantage of Super Tails. All right, so boss coming up, and once again, we're going to take advantage of getting hit purposely. That way we can hit him many more times. And we get a free hit here at the beginning. And we're just going to wait for him to come out the ground. And we're going to get hit on purpose, hit him twice, and same thing again. Well, that's what it was supposed to be, but there we go. All right, and that's Chemical Plant 1.
Nice. You'll notice the gimmick right up here in Chemical Plant 2 is where we're going to start seeing these different syringes that you can inject into like that blue water down there. The blue water right there would actually deal damage to you, and the more syringes you shoot down, it will actually enhance how much you can bounce off of them. So you see a lot of different things going on in this stage.
So one thing I want to explain, because it's very important throughout the run, is Tails' flight. So in general, you want to avoid using his flight unless you want like vertical momentum in any way. Because his flight is very slow, with the one exception, and that's flying against a ceiling. If you fly against a ceiling, for whatever reason, it's much faster than just flying regularly. All right, and Chemical Plant 2 is a very cycle-heavy stage. So for the most part, our time's going to be the same every time. We're just fighting to make one early cycle near the end of the stage, and I'll show what that is when I get there. But so far, I believe we're actually making pretty good time. All right, and if we have any fans of Mean Bean Machine out there, or Puyo Puyo Tetris, you're gonna love this boss.
Yeah, I gotta ask, are you a Puyo player at all?
As of this game, I am now a Puyo player.
You are now, yeah. I wonder how many players actually kind of became Puyo players after this.
Right. So these little platforms here, this is the cycle I was talking about. I actually got a late cycle, but that's fine. It's only about 6 seconds. This is the hardest special stage. But it looks the coolest if done correctly. So, very glad I got that one out the way. There's actually an easier way to do that stage. I just like hitting the ramp there just because it looks much cooler than the normal way. Shoutouts to Zaxxon, the world record holder for many categories of this game, for criticizing me for doing that every time. All right, so...
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. So, Puyo Puyo Tetris, or Mean Bean Machine, just absolute RNG heavy boss. So, I'm just going to concentrate here.
Yeah, he's got 5 different colors he can work with here, as you see, and he's going to be trying to build up chains. Thankfully, Robotnik himself is pretty, like, it's the difficulty of the computer is pretty easy.
All right. Right now, I'm getting no blues. All right, there we go. Much better.
Yeah, once you connect 4 colors together, that's what's going to pop it up. In front of you who don't know how Puyo works.
All right, so far so good. That's not going to actually finish him off, but one more combo should do it. Unfortunately, he's actually doing pretty well on his side, so this is taking it even longer. And that's, yet again, another element of RNG to this boss. Sometimes the computer just does very well. And this is usually the run killer for every run. If this was a normal run, I would have reset by now, for sure.
Yeah, I noticed on Sonic Mania Plus, the Encore mode, they actually have a way to skip this boss, which seems very nice.
Oh yeah, definitely. Knuckles can actually skip it as well solo, and this combo should definitely finish him off. So yeah.
There's some weird magic if that didn't kill him.
Yeah, so not the best Poyo, but you know, I'll take it. All right, and that's Chemical Plant.
And right here we've got our first original stage of Sonic Mania, Studiopolis.
Yeah, this one is one of my favorites. Unfortunately, you won't hear the music very much because I'm going to have speech used during most of it. All right, so we're about to get our first set of speech used, and that's going to take us to another one. Also on this stage, we're collecting our last Chaos Emerald. But again, flying, you can have horizontal momentum if you have a lot of speed beforehand and then you fly. But if you fly for an extended period of time, you lose a lot of speed. And last stage coming up. This one's a little scary as well. And we got it.
Very nice.
So as you saw, there are a lot of hits in that special stage, so it's very easy to fall off. So luckily we have all the Chaos Emeralds, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. Because that's easily the scariest part of the run, because if you fail one of those, you can't go back unless you find another special ring. And here's our first appearance of Super Tails. And one thing to note, I do have the super music disabled.
Okay, thank you.
Simply because it's just frustrating to hear after, you know.
It's a great track.
It's a great track.
But when it's the only track for the next 45 minutes?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, this boss is pretty RNG heavy. I'll explain what happened. So, these missiles you just saw, if you see the missile, the blue missile at the bottom, that's bad RNG. If it's at the top, that's good RNG.
Yeah, that's just the order they'll come at you at.
So that's it for this boss. It's pretty straightforward other than that. So this will be a good time for donations if we have any.
No problem. We got a $100 donation from Team Sentinel that says, "Let's go, Dre. Good luck with the run today. You have the whole Sentinel family behind you. Another new world record incoming?"
I wish. So Team Sentinel actually flew me out here today. So thank you guys so much, because without that, I might not have made it. So love all you guys. Thank you so much.
And then we also have a $25 from Rafael Mir that says, "Hey guys, great to see Sonic Mania on GDQ Express. It has a special place in my heart because it's the game that got me into speedrunning. It's just so much fun. Good luck to Funk. I know you can do it. Did I forget to mention something? Ah, yes. Greetings from Germany."
Thanks a lot. Appreciate that.
It's weird how everybody's from Germany during these events.
I know, right?
We're popular in that country.
All right, so one thing I want to point out, the reason why I was flying in between each transition, it's actually slightly faster to just fly through them instead of watching Tails just slowly scroll through them.
And right there, wanted to make sure he didn't actually go full speed through it, because you have to wait until the goal actually comes all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah, sadly, I still had a little too much speed because what you're supposed to do is slow down enough to where the signpost doesn't even fly off the ground. So next time I'll show that off if I'm able to get it. Worst enemy in the game, by the way.
What a jerk, dude. I'm glad he stayed the worst enemy in the game.
Right, so luckily for now, we can just damage boost through him because we have plenty of rings to become Super Tails. So for those that don't know, that aren't familiar with Sonic games, to transform into your super form, you need 50 rings, and then you jump in the air and press Y. Now, it adds a little bit of strategy to the runs because not only are you worried about going through the stage as fast as possible, but now you're worried about your ring count as well, since Super Tails is so necessary. And here, we're going to take advantage of Tails' incredibly small hitbox compared to the other characters. That's just one example of that we'll be seeing. Why his hitbox is so small, I'm not sure. He's the only character in the game that has a much smaller hitbox.
Now I'll ask you a little bit about Super Tails. So obviously he's invulnerable to most enemies. He can be crushed, though.
Right.
And also, he's faster than regular Tails. Your top speed's better, but not necessarily the speed shoes fast.
Right. So Super Speed Shoes, it seems a little faster than Super in some circumstances. Like if you're going down like a huge ramp, it definitely seems faster. Yeah, so that's just one example of that. And once again, flying to the capsule to save time. And that's Studiopolis 2. All right, so coming up is Flying Battery Zone, and this zone is pretty much a run killer for multiple reasons. So I delayed my spin dash there slightly at the beginning to make this flame cycle here. All right, got it. So normally that flame there will hit you if you just spin dash immediately, which is why I wait at the beginning. And once again, I'm also making sure I collect enough rings because I'm going to need super as early as possible. And this is also a very cycle-heavy stage, and I'll explain that when I get there. All right, so far so good, though. But go ahead.
And when he's talking about cycles, there are these global cycles going on from the moment you enter the stage. So if he's a little slow, then all of a sudden, like some of these that move up and down, how the flames move, how some stuff you're going to be seeing here in just a little bit, it's always moving. So if he's a little too slow, he won't be able to catch them.
All right, so hopefully I make this. There we go. Just barely made that.
Woof! Yeah, a
So-
lot of potential crush deaths going on there.
So that saves a bunch of time there because the most important cycle is this missile one. And I just made the right one. So this is the earliest that I've completed this stage. I think it may be possible to make it earlier. But this is what I usually get on a good run. So I should be at the boss at around like 120. Yep, exactly. All right, so this boss is normally really complicated, but his super tails, all we have to do is just fly up there.
Yeah, it seems like that's the #1 advantage of having super tails, is just to kind of trivialize the bosses.
Yeah, absolutely. There's only a couple of bosses I can think of that we'll see later that aren't really trivialized anymore, but it still helps to have, you know, the Infernal ability. All right, so this stage coming up is pretty much the run killer for almost every character in the game for multiple reasons. So I'm going to pass this one over to Spike because I'm going to concentrate during the skip here.
Yeah, he's going to be utilizing the bottom path here because effectively what's going to happen, he's going to grab this ring. Now that he already has 7 Chaos Emeralds, that just gives him 50 rings and he can go right into Super Tails. He wants that for the extra flight speed. What he's going to do is, we said how he's already like flying under the stage. He's going to take it one step further and fly all the way under the boss fight and the rest of the stage. So you're going to be coming down here. He's going to try to stop right here and set up his spin dash. So he's going to get a nice bonk right there. If he gets a little lower than he is, then he will hit the death plane. He's going to try to start going up now and avoid this spike ball.
And I got it, just barely. So it's not over yet. This is part 2.
Again, what he's doing here, he's avoiding all sorts of death planes that will just kill him instantly.
And we got it. That's the biggest tip in the game.
Wow.
So
Great job.
basically what I just did is I flew over the capsule like he was saying earlier, and I just, you know, casually strolled over to it. And that just skipped the boss, by the way.
Which is a very lengthy boss, Dr. Bonnick, spider boss.
All right, so this is Press Garden. This is another new zone in Mania. Another very good one. All the new zones in this game are great.
All the optimization of that little platform he had to do at the beginning, I at least found was a complete nightmare. Just all these little short hops they ask you to do.
Oh, whoops. Yeah.
As you can see.
Just like he was saying.
Thank you for giving an example of the
Right.
commentary I just gave.
All right, so we're going to have super through most of the stage since I just got a bonus ring. Other than that, this one's pretty straightforward, so this would be another good time for donations.
No problem. We have a $10 donation from Flash and Fade that says, great to see you guys back for TwitchCon. So psyched to see Sonic Mania to start it off with. Here's to a great weekend. And we also have a $25 donation from BlargMeister that says, want to give the best of luck to my man Dre. Stay hydrated and don't forget to levitate.
So, Blargmeister, he is actually a moderator and like my #1 sub in my chat. Don't forget to levitate. You'll see what he means later.
And then I have Ogan Dracker that donates $19. It says $9 for Mega Man 9 and $10 for Mega Man 10. Best of luck to FunkMastaDre on your run. Great job kicking off the event.
Yeah, Edo, do you actually want to tell us a little bit about the upcoming Mega Man 9 versus 10 bid war, like how it's doing?
Yeah, let me go ahead and double check on that for you right now for that.
Yeah, while she's checking that, it is a battle between Mega Man 9 and 10. We have used Pizza here in just a couple runs in a few hours. He'll be running the winner of that bid war. And how's it doing?
So far, we have Mega Man 9 in the lead with $84, and then Mega Man 10 only has $40. But it's all up to you guys with your donations to change that. If you guys want to see Mega Man 10 be the game that Use Pizza will play.
All right, so as you saw for that boss, it was simply just jump over to him and just, jump into him many times. All right, so what I'm doing here, I'm actually flying in the air, so I still keep control over Tails, and I will just spin dash, and, well, I was going to do it. But what you're supposed to do is you spin dash, and then you skip the transition into that level, so I don't have to slowly walk in. Sadly, I mistimed it there. But it doesn't save that much time, it's only a couple seconds.
Really good spin dash techniques. It's an important distinction. Anyone who's maybe just watched the HGDQ run that we had this year by Claris, Tails does not actually have the drop dash technique that Sonic does, where you can kind of buffer the revving up of your spin dash, and then as soon as you hit the ground, you go. So Funk actually has to have really good tap dashing, spin dashing, mashing skills. You need to get in, I believe, 6 taps is the maximum speed, and you have to put them, input them very quickly. So.
All right, so unfortunately at the beginning I did take a hit, so I just grabbed that extra ring box to make sure I have enough rings to transform into Super here. This is awesome, by the way. Just watch this.
Yeah.
I saw this earlier.
Whoops. Unfortunately, I transformed a little late. There's normally a set of spikes there that I just jump on. But I wasn't able to jump on them, unfortunately, because they were gone. All right, and this boss is simply just jump into him many times as quickly as you can, because if not, he will freeze you.
Yeah, it's important that he makes sure that he jumps up into him to buffer a hit, and so he can get in more hits per cycle.
That's actually the quickest you can kill him for the most part. And there's Press Garden.
Nice. 5 zones down.
All right, so coming up is Stardust Speedway. And this track is actually probably my favorite in the entire game.
It's a banger. It's pretty good.
Act 2 is very good as well. But yeah, this stage is very technical in a way, just because there's a lot of very precise jumps, which I just missed one, unfortunately, as you saw. All right, but other than that, this one's pretty straightforward as well, so this would be a good time for donations.
No problem. We have a $25 donation from Draconis that says, "Hey Dre, your pal Draconis here. Hope you have a clean run. There is one thing you and I know that is best for a clean run, and you know what I'm referencing. Toilet paper. Hope you have a good run."
Thanks. He's actually one of my neighbors, so glad to see him tuning in.
Also got a random anonymous $20 donation that just says, "GDQx hype."
Hype?
Already starting. And then we also have $100 from Merb Zing that says, "So many great causes being supported. Looking forward to all the runs. Good luck to everyone."
All right, so not much really going on with this boss here. Again, Super Tails just trivializes almost every boss, as we were saying earlier.
And I'm sure it's also just really nice having Tails flight, because there's a little bit of randomness to the middle phase there, how high or low that those enemies will be.
Right.
So even though they were at the top of the screen, he was able to handle it.
So this
Don't
is
blink.
Right. This is one of the quickest acts in the game, which is why he said don't blink. And I'm just going to let it rock. All right, so if you blinked, I'm very sorry. And again, taking advantage of Tails' flight, when you
such
have
a
a
fast
bunch
stage,
of
so
speed,
good.
it's very useful. So coming up is Metal Sonic. So if you haven't played this game in a while, or you played it at launch but never touched it again, this fight might look a little different to you. Sonic Mania Plus added an entire new phase to this fight. And it changed another phase, but unfortunately we are going to skip that phase, so you're not even going to be able to see it.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a mini-boss phase here where he faces off with Silver Sonic effectively, but he's actually going to get up to where he's about to trigger it, but then stops so the camera doesn't move too far forward. Also has to watch out for Metal Sonic there that he doesn't fly directly into him. And that skipped over the Silver Sonic face, so very nice job there.
All right, and this is the new phase. Shoutouts to Sonic Heroes. I believe that's where this is from.
Oh, okay.
Some kind of reference to that. But as Super, he's not very intimidating at all. Without Super, that's actually a very tough fight
That
to do.
seems
It's one of the toughest in the game, actually. And there's Stardust Speedway.
really nice Stardust Speedway stage end bosses.
All right, so HYDROCITY coming up. So one thing to know about Super Tails is he can still drown. That's another way he can be killed as well. So we do have to watch our air, but we will have a water shield through most of HYDROCITY, so it's not even going to matter. But other than that, this stage is also cycle-based as well towards the end. And if you played Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you're going to like the boss at the end of the stage. It's a really great shout-out. All right, and once again, Super Tails can still drown, so we're going to get out of here as quick as possible. All right, but so far, so good. And route the water. That's one thing to worry about. And here, I'm just going to jump through this little slope here. That saves a lot of time, believe it or not. And there's our 50 rings and our water shield, so now we don't have to worry about drowning. So the nice thing is since I got Super and then got the water shield, I don't have to worry about losing the shield. So I effectively have it forever unless I die somehow. Ooh, very close.
One important distinction casually is that, like I said earlier, a lot of the Act 1s are actually based off of what they were in the original game. Here they actually took their gimmicks. A lot of the stage is a little bit slower, whereas in this one, Act 2 is actually based more off of the original stages, which is going to be really, really fast. They like building to it. And then this cute little boss.
Very cute. So phase 1 of this boss is simply get to the top before you are crushed. But as Tails, we can simply dog paddle, and it's adorable. Very adorable.
Too cute. Too cute.
And we got here so fast, we just kind of have to wait for a little bit.
I forgot for a second you were Super Tails. So I was like, how did he stand on those spikes?
Right.
How did he do it?
So shout outs to Sonic 3 for this boss. So she played Sonic 3. There's a boss in that game where Eggman is controlling this machine that I am in and trying to pull you into it. But now we're getting revenge for all those cruel times he punished us in the past. And now we're doing it to him.
And he does need to be specific about where he starts the sucking up phase. If he's too close to the bombs, instead the bombs will get to you first.
Right, and those bombs will damage me. I do have a water shield, so I'm safe, but I would like to keep it for the next level so I don't have to worry about getting a new one. And here, what I was talking about earlier, just slowly going into the signpost so it doesn't go flying in the air at the end of the stage. All right, so HYDROCITY 2 coming up. There's a big skip in this level. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Also, this is my banger of the game. I love HYDROCITY.
Yeah, this is probably like tied for the best song in the game, actually.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you have good taste. We just met today, but we're already best friends.
All right, so once again, we're going to make sure we have 50 rings here because we're going to have just enough by the time we get to the point where we need Super. And we're going to intentionally take a slower path in this stage to actually collect more rings because there is a quicker path. And again, here, intentionally making sure we're getting all these rings because we need every single one. And we just have the water shield for safety, but luckily we didn't need it. So we're going to transform here, then fly over, and I'm going to let Spike take over here because I believe I showed you this earlier.
Yeah, the big thing he did right there was he actually did a path swap where the game thinks he's basically further in the stage than he actually is. Right now he's actually standing on top of that platform, which is he needs a lot of speed to be able to get up there. And what's important to distinguish is that if he had accidentally dropped down into the middle part of that platform up there, there's an invisible area that will just trap you, and you'll be soft locked effectively. I'm assuming at that point you have to time out, reset the stage, something.
Yeah, it's pretty much a restart at that point.
So really nice that he was able to skip over the entire rest of that stage.
Right, that saves like a good 15 seconds or so. All right, so this boss, what we're normally supposed to do is knock these things into him. But as super, we can use all these little platforms and just hit them ourselves.
Oh.
This boss is a bit RNG heavy because I got a bad pattern there. There's one pattern where you can actually hit him a total of 4 times.
I believe he has 3 different areas he can bring you to, and it's just random what order he'll bring you to, maybe 3 or 4.
And once again, we're just going to fly up here. And we're also going to be lined up with a capsule perfectly as well. And there we go.
Nice HYDROCITY. Nailing the big skip first try.
All right, so for whatever reason, this is one cutscene in the game that you cannot skip. But by holding right before the cutscene starts, you keep control of Tails instead of having to wait. All right, so this is everyone's favorite stage in a game. Also, Knuckles being useful as usual. But anyway, this is an auto-scroller. There is one trick near the end, but this would be a very good time for donations.
I heard you like auto-scrollers.
Woo!
Love them.
Ghost King donates $7.77 saying, "Hey Spike, sup from behind the back couch, money to Spike's choice. Good luck, Funk."
Yeah, I'll put my money towards Mega Man 9. I like that.
Mega Man 9. It looks like right now it is still in the lead. As of right now, it's at 109. Mega Man 10 at 65. So, guys still can make a change if you want to.
Yeah, I believe the schedule is this. Then we're doing Monkey Ball, then Punch Out, and then is it Mega Man 9-10?
Yep, that is correct.
So you guys have 3 runs, but both the runs after this, we only got a little bit left in this run, and then 2 quickies, 20, 25-minute runs after that. So make sure you get those donations in fast, guys. Also, hi, Ghost King. You can read donations.
No problem. We got Bashin who donates $10 that says, "Hey Dre, great to see someone I know running on GDQ. Good luck on your run, and I hope you have a great time in California."
Thanks, Bashan, another good friend of mine. All right, so if you notice, I'm actually collecting rings on this stage because we need Super to perform a small skip. And it's going to be at the end of this stage here. So even though this is an auto-scroller, you do have to be careful not to get hit since you do need Super to perform this. All right, so coming up is the skip. All right, so I'm just not going to talk during this. I'm just going to let this one rock and just let you guys watch.
I haven't seen this yet, so I'm going to be right there with you guys.
All right, so as you saw, all right, so basically what we did, for those that are very confused, we skipped an entire section of the level where you have to go through this train. So what we did was, when I jumped in the air at the top right of the screen and transformed into Super, I basically tricked the game into thinking that I was on the same plane as the train, which allowed me to hit that checkpoint on the train. And then I killed myself and just went to that checkpoint, basically, which saves a bunch of time.
That's pretty sick.
I was supposed to say, me and Spike looked at each other for 2 seconds, oh.
I get it. I figured it out.
And that boss is slight RNG, and we actually got a really good pattern there. So that's one of the fastest Marat Saloons you'll get.
I was about to say, I know there's a pattern he can give you where he kind of runs around in the background of the stage. So give you a lot of nice just up and back and forths there.
All right, so Act 2, this song's another banger, by the way. One of the first songs they revealed for this game and still one of my favorites. And we need this ring box here. And we're going to turn Super right away. There we go. All right, and this stage would be a good time for maybe 1 or 2 donations, actually.
No problem. We have a $30 donation from Mr. Lawrence Fleming that says, "GDQ Express, well, that's my weekend sorted. Good luck to everyone, and this just might be keep going till HGDQ. And then we also have a $25 donation from Solid Snake that says, "Hey GDQ, so surprised to find that my weekend just got booked up watching awesome speedruns. This donation goes towards Mega Man 9 solely for the soundtrack." It does have a really good soundtrack.
All right, so this boss is like tons of references in one.
Yay!
And we're actually going to 3-cycle him here. Instead, you're normally supposed to 4-cycle him. So what I'm going to do is hit him only once here. And then when he pops up again, I'll hit him twice. That lets you get 3 hits per character, which allows you to just skip the 4th part of the fight. And it's slightly faster. And we're going to do that again. Oh, okay. Or we can hit him once. That works too. We can still...
You're
3-cycle
allowed
him.
1 miss on that.
All right, I
Nice.
jumped there because I was actually very low on rings, and I thought I was actually going to run out of super. Also, if you recognize any of those characters, kudos to you.
It's pretty obscure. I mean, the first one, I don't know. I read the Sonic comics, so I know the
Yes.
little Knack the Weasel or whatever.
I would say also kudos to those who knew the actual sound effects that came from those enemies.
Oh, I have no idea about that.
Those are Game Gear sound effects, actually.
Right, because some of those are from Game Gear games, so yeah, good call on that. So Oil Ocean, Act 1 isn't really anything special. Act 2 is when it gets a little weird. But for the most part in Oil Ocean 1, again, it's pretty straightforward, so we could get a couple more donations.
No problem. We have a $25 donation from Mary Merkel that says, "Good luck to the runners. Hi to my grandson, Cool
I was
Maddie."
about to say.
Woo! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right, we have a $10 donation from Ozone Griff that says, "After all these years, I finally catch GDQ when it starts. I am hungry for good gaming. Kudos." And then let me just double check to see where we are on Mega Man. Looks like, it looks like Mega Man 10 just took the lead right now with $165. And Mega Man 9 is at $116. So once again, guys, you guys have the power to change that choice if you want to go back to 9. Someone said it had an awesome soundtrack. It does. So go ahead and donate towards that.
All right, so Oil Ocean 2, first thing I'm going to point out is I'm standing here on purpose, so I actually fall straight to the floor at the beginning of the stage and just skip a small transition. Now, by skipping that transition, I don't have to worry about the smoke making me run out of rings, because that's what normally happens on this stage. So that gives me a little bit of a safety pocket, because I'm going to need super on this stage, and, you know, the fact that you can run out of rings here, that's not a good thing if you want super. All right, so I'm going to pass this one over to Spike. I believe I showed him this earlier.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember it. Well, wait until you get up there. But again, it's going to be another instance where he's going to want to get all those rings and then set himself up here very specifically so he can fly over the rest of the stage effectively. Needs a lot of speed off of this. Going to have to set up again.
It's very precise. It's probably going to take a few tries.
Yeah, how he hits this ramp.
That time I didn't even jump. I got a couple more tries as long as I have super.
There is potentially a backup he can utilize these enemies for. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't work that time. It's really risky to go for. I didn't want to go for that.
Yeah, this is obviously worth it. This is a very, very lengthy stage otherwise. We'll see him clip. Okay. Very nice.
Now, so we're going to land here because we don't have enough speed to fly over the entire stage. And now we do. We can just fly straight to the end from here.
Yeah, very lengthy boss here that you would normally have to fight. Instead, we're going to move just a little bit further.
And hopefully we'll land on the capsule for swag strats.
And hole in one. That was still, even,
All right.
Yeah, even failing that 3 times, a minute 23. That is like
There's
3 minutes.
actually a small chance I can die in this cutscene. And, oh, wow, it actually just happened. I'm just messing with you guys.
Shouts to that level transition, by the way.
Yeah, so we just really messed up that level, like, hugely, which is why that cutscene just basically killed us there.
Game was not happy.
Not at all. All right, so here we're actually going out of our way to collect rings at the beginning so we can transform super right away. And there's 2 convenient ring boxes there. And there we go. Now we're already super. Now, Lava Reef, before I turn it away, there's a lot of potential crush deaths here. But other than that, this would be a good time for donations as well until the end.
One important thing to point out is that he did want to pick up that flame shield right there, because this is one of the lengthier stages in the game, so there's a good chance he's going to run out before the boss.
Right. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. So the end boss, there's a pretty good chance that I will have no rings. So I picked up that flame shield for safety there.
But other than that, yeah, we can read donations.
No problem. Odd Craig X donates $100, saying always great when GDQ is on, even if it's only for a few days. We also got a $5 donation from Apotheos, saying excited for the new GDQ. All those prizes look so great that I know I'll donate for those later. Also got a $25 donation from Tyson135 that says happy to donate. Thanks to all that make these events possible.
All right, so again, avoiding many crush deaths on this level because there's many of them. Now, coming up is a small little skip here. This is the last one for the most part. All right, and that time I made it.
Nice. Made sure he wanted to clear that entire platform, because same sort of thing as we had a platform earlier where if he landed on it, then he would be stuck there. He's actually trying to avoid a cutscene trigger right here.
There we go, and now we're at the boss, just like that.
Very nice.
Now, again, as you see, keep an eye on my ring count. That is exactly why I grabbed that flame shield for safety. Oh, no. Dang it. Yeah, so I normally have more rings there, but it did take me a while to get through the stage. So we're just going to have to go through normally now. It's no big deal, though. Just a small time loss. Well, more like a big one, but we're not going to go over estimate or anything.
That little section of platforming right there, again, it's crazy how much they ask of the player to have like really just good micro platforming, these little short hops all over the place.
Oh, whoops. Not supposed to be here. I actually have not been here in a while in this little section here. All right, there we go. But yeah, again, there's many skips in this game that are reset worthy, and that's one of them, including the boss, because it's very risky to do so. So, you know, just another example of that's why the estimate for this is pretty high, because there's a lot of room for error. Because the world record right now is 51:42. But I set the estimate as an hour just because, you know, I need a lot of safety nets. All right, so there's another flame shield up here. I'm going to grab that for safety as well. There we go. All right, and we're back. So fun fact, there is actually a soft lock on this boss. If you just spin dash on the right side of the screen, the boss will fall through the floor. Don't ask why that happens, but it happens, and it's horrible.
You don't want to show it off today?
Nah, not today. Uh-oh, we should be okay.
Yeah, thankfully crouching right here, or just jumping up into him, so nice job there.
All right, so I'm going to show off a small little fun glitch here, what I would like to call Dark Lava Reef. So I'm going to watch this cutscene for a little bit. I'm going to skip it at a certain time, and you'll see what happens if I do it correctly.
Also, shoutouts to this song. This is one of my favorites.
Another good one.
So the stage is not supposed to look like this for obvious reasons. But luckily, everything I need to see, like all these hazards here, are lit up pretty well. Very convenient.
This looks so cool.
It does.
Yeah, I love
awesome.
doing this so much when I'm like just not doing well on the run, just to show it off. It's great. So another small skip coming up here.
This one's pretty sick.
All right. So basically what we did was we transformed into Super Tails as the block was moving up. And since we're inside the block, the game wants to move you somewhere. So where else to move you but the wall? And when you're stuck in a wall like that, you can just constantly jump to just get back up to the top. And that's a huge time save, by the way. It saves like maybe 30 seconds or so. And again, just everything that I need to see on the stage is luckily lit up. All right, so there was a donation we got earlier that said, do not forget levitation. After this boss, you'll see what I mean. I actually haven't showed this off very much, so this is going to be a pleasant surprise to a lot of people. So I actually discovered this glitch day one on complete accident as a different character. But turns out any character that has some type of flight can do it. But first we're going to kill the boss, and then we'll see what's going to happen. Hopefully this boss isn't a jerk.
Yeah, it's very easy for it to just knock you backwards for you to kind of ping pong off of it.
So when this boss jumps, it's completely random. Sometimes he jumps all the time. All right, there we go. Oh, I didn't get it. But so what you do is you're supposed to jump in the air right before the score tally happens and fly. And when you do that, Tails will just, in that cutscene, how he's like looking off in the background, he does that in the air and he constantly floats up. And he basically goes above the ceiling and just disappears because I guess his planet needs him.
Intentional damage boost there so it could get past that big bomb enemy.
Yeah, and this little stage, there is not much room for error here. There's a lot of mistakes that could cause you to like just fall down to the bottom and lose a bunch of time.
Yeah, seems like I always thought this was just the most punishing stage in the run.
It really is, yeah. The thing I like about it is that as every different character, just gonna wait here, don't want to get crushed. As every different character, there's like, it's almost a completely different stage, which is really neat. All right, so we don't actually need super on this stage, but it's nice to have for the boss. Now, fun fact, there's a skip on this level that was discovered about 2 weeks ago. I'm not doing it here simply because if you fail, it's literally a soft lock. You can't even reset. You have to pretty much close the game. So we're not going for it, unfortunately. It's very precise as well, and there's like no setup for it. So shoutouts to Sonic 1 for this boss.
The throwback of all throwbacks. This was definitely the part of Sonic 1 I missed.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so this boss is pretty straightforward, so this will be a good time for donations.
No problem. I actually wanted to let people know that Mega Man 9 is winning.
Yes.
It has $196.77, whereas Mega Man 10 has $195. So it's winning by...
Sounds like it's over. Don't even bother doing it.
So it's really, really close. So keep in those donations for that. I also got a $50 donation from Red19 that says, hey everyone, Red from World 9 Gaming here. Here's a little something to help kick this off. We're so excited to once again be working with GamesDoneQuick and hope everyone enjoys this fantastic event. Hype!
Hype!
So it didn't take too long to beat that boss.
Right. But if I were to do that skip I was talking about earlier, it skips about, I think it saves about 50 seconds to a minute. It's pretty ridiculous. All right, so Metallic Madness 2 coming up. If you like chibi versions of anything, you're going to love this for many reasons, as you'll see in a bit. Also, you're going to hear the super music as well. For some reason, only on this stage, the super music doesn't get disabled with the code. And shout out to Chibi Tails.
Oh, he's so cute.
One of the best sprites in the game. Other than Super Ray, that one's even better. Oh, whoops. There we go. Probably missed our cycle, unfortunately. Actually, we're short a ring as well. We should have 50 here. This is normally where I transform. All right, there we go. And there we go. There's the super music. You're finally going to hear it.
It's a great track. I'm glad we get to hear it once.
Right, but
I knew.
Keyword once.
Only once.
All right, but yeah, other than that, this stage is pretty straightforward. We're very close to the boss, though. the boss here is actually, in my opinion, one of the best bosses in the game, just for fun value. Also throwback value as well. So what this boss is, not only do we fight him with chibi tails, so we get to stare at him for longer, but you see a lot of references here. It's basically just like this giant, what is this, like a pachinko machine or something? But yeah, so these bosses that are coming out the machine are references to other games. Like there's Sonic 1's boss.
We haven't seen the worst enemy yet. There she is.
There's the Amy doll from Sonic CD.
There she is.
And then there's Sonic 2's first boss as well. It's one of the best bosses in my opinion because it isn't simply just hit him many times until he dies. There's a little bit more strategy to it because you have to figure out, you know, if you want to hit the boss himself to make him spit out another machine or hit the small ones. I mean, eventually you need to hit them all, but there's a bit of strategy there. And there's Metallic Madness.
Nice. Leaves one level left, one zone.
Right, Titanic Monarch.
Yep, our last original stage as well, and they did a really good job with it on this one as well.
Right, I actually did not like the stage originally, but after playing it for a while, it's one of my favorites. It's probably one of the best final boss, or not final bosses, final stages in Sonic to me, other than maybe Death Egg. Alright, so in this stage, you're going to see the gravity balls from the bonus stages in, I think, Sonic 3.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably one of the most hated things in this game. But after you learn to speedrun, it's really not as bad. And again, taking advantage of... we're going to take advantage of Super Tails later on. We have plenty of rings on the way there.
With those cars, he wants to make sure he jumps out of them early as opposed to letting it fall on, give him the animation of kind of blowing up into a wall.
This song's very good as well. Very good for a final stage. Glad the super music isn't going to ruin it. Alright, so we might see some interesting camera shenanigans at this point. Alright, so let's see if it actually happens if I make it up there quick enough. There we go. Yeah, it gets worse. If you get there even faster, I'll be up here and the camera will still be at like that lower part. I'm going to be careful here because believe it or not, it is possible to get crushed there, even with Tails' tiny hitbox.
Yeah, that part's always terrifying.
Right, especially so close to the end of the run. And again, the gravity balls, so basically what you need to do with those is you need to aim yourself and you'll just launch in a specific direction when you hit jump. Once you know how to control them, it isn't that bad, but for casual players, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, I know that it's basically a throwback to the bonus game in Sonic 3.
Sonic 3.
If you knew how to do it in that game.
Speaking of throwbacks, did anybody miss this boss?
Yeah, this one's worse than the Sonic 1 throwback boss.
Yeah.
This is going to be the boss where Super Tails saves the most time.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If you're playing as Knuckles, he cannot jump high enough to hit this boss in certain areas. And Zax and I apologize for that run you had where he did the same attack 20 times in a row and you could not hit the boss. Because he was on world record pace. It was just so heartbreaking to watch.
Here we are at Titanic Monarch 2, final level of the game, and a really interesting level that you can actually do it in any order you want.
Right, so basically what we're going to do is, since we have to keep an eye on our rings, we're going to take a very specific order. We're going to take the route with the most rings first, and then we're going to take the other routes where we need to use damage boosting because it really helps to have super there. Because at that point, you don't have the damage boost anymore.
Nice jumping out of that one super early, skipping over most of this part.
Right, yeah, because otherwise that's a very frustrating part. All right, so we're just going to fly up here to ignore that little puzzle there. All right, so far so good. We haven't gotten hit or anything. I probably just jinxed myself by saying that. All right, so we have 50 rings already, but I'm going to wait to transform just for safety because I would like to have plenty of rings for the final boss because I normally transform as soon as I get 50. But now we're just going to... transform now instead.
Also, shoutouts to being able to actually push a button to turn into super instead of just automatic jump.
Right, that's actually a very good point. So when this game originally came out, the super button was the same button as the jump button. So if you wanted to fly as Tails, too bad. You're going to transform into super instead. But now we can control that whenever we want. And that alone is a time save in a lot of situations. All right, so another advantage of super here, just being able to jump here over these spikes. Well, on the spikes, I should say. And that's exactly why we don't do that path first, because we would have to damage boost there and we would lose all our rings. So we would like to, you know, get super earlier so we don't take that path first. Now, these next two paths you can really do in just about any order. I just like going up here first since it launches you up in the air at the end of that route.
Yeah, it kind of gives you an automatic jump that you can utilize.
Right, exactly. There used to be a clip on this route, but it was patched out in Plus. One of the things that was patched out in Plus. One of the things that they patched and, you know, decided to break many other things, as you saw.
And you can do this one very quickly, being able to float all the way up there.
All right, so there's a spring here. I'm going to run into it on purpose. That gives me a lot more speed if you just back into it. So far, so good on our ring count, so we should have enough for the final boss. There's actually an extra ring box we're going to pick up right before then. And that jump there just jumps over like the majority of that little small section there.
Yeah, I believe that's another path swap is what that ends up being, effectively.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And now final boss.
All right, so this final boss was changed in the Plus a little bit. So there's this extra phase that you're pretty much forced into, unfortunately. But other than that, we should have enough rings, so we should be invincible for the entire fight. If not, I picked up the electric shield at the beginning of the stage, so I'm basically still invincible no matter what.
Yeah, since electricity is going to be going through these different vines.
All right, so far so good. So we're going to hit him another 5 times and transition to another section here. Oh, get ready on time, by the way. Time's coming up in about maybe a minute or so.
Yeah, so this is the phase that unfortunately in Sonic Mania Plus we cannot skip anymore. So he's going to have to go through this.
Yeah.
It's relatively quick, though.
You don't even have to do anything here. You could just stand there and just wait for it to transition back. All right, so we're going to hit him another 4 times. I should be good on rings, hopefully. Anyway, time is at the second hit here. And time.
As a 5709.
5709. I can live with that. That was mostly because of the little mishap
Lava
at
Reef
Lava
one.
Reef, yeah.
Yep.
Again, that's exactly why my estimate was high, because stuff like that can happen. All right, so that was Sonic Mania's Tails.
Also, Sonic was just there all of a sudden to
Just bam.
Yeah.
Just
right.
riding on cars.
He
All
was
right.
there the whole time. He just watched me, you know, defeat the boss. You know, no big deal. And a nice little cutscene to finish it off. Shoutouts to Tails actually being the hero, by the way, for once.
Yay!
Because the 3D Sonics tend to forget that he is very capable of saving them today. All right, so we're going to have our in-game time here at the end as well, which is 46:07. So in-game time is a little busted, as you can see, compared to my RTA time. All right, and again, that's Sonic Mania.
Woo!
Let's hear it. Let's hear it for FunkMastaDre for his run of Sonic Mania. Well, more like Tails Mania in this case. But